Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So these are some of the cherry and the heirloom tomatoes I picked or harvested from my garden. You can always follow the same method of prepping to preserve or store your garden tomatoes whenever you harvest in a very large quantity or whenever you purchase a large quantity of tomatoes, especially when tomatoes are in season. So first thing first, I'm going to start by washing the tomatoes because they are just coming out fresh from the garden. Like I just harvested the tomatoes. There are hidden dirt on it. I'll be using my vinegar to wash them. Like always, if you don't have a vinegar, you can use or add salt inside the running water. When I'm done, I'm going to transfer all the tomatoes inside the water. I will allow the tomatoes to soak inside the water for 3 good minutes before coming back to wash it. So this is the final washing. I actually took my time to wash these tomatoes off camera because sometimes editing a very long video can be time consuming. So yeah, that was why I paused the camera to concentrate on the washing. And at this point, I'm just going to take out the cherry tomatoes out from the water, and the tomatoes are properly washed. Like I said, there's no sand, no dirt, like it is properly washed. Over here is the heirloom tomatoes. I'm just going to take out the core. This is totally optional. You can decide to leave the core on the tomatoes, but I always prefer to cut or take the cores out. So when I'm done, I'm going to repeat the same process on the rest of the heirloom tomatoes. So I'm just going to slice or cut the big or the heirloom tomatoes in a tiny pieces so that the cooking process will blend with the cherry tomatoes that I have at hand. So over here are some fresh rosemary that I also got from my garden, red onions and the fresh ginger root. Everything has already been washed. I'm just going to cut the ginger and then I will slice the red onions. So here comes the finished look of the tomatoes and the other ingredients that I added inside the tomatoes. So at this point, I'm going to start by transferring the tomatoes inside my cooking pot. I'm cooking on a low to medium heat just to ensure the tomatoes doesn't get burnt at the process of cooking. And by cooking on a low heat, it will allow the tomatoes to gradually release its natural juice. So at this point, this very pot is filled up. I'm just going to stir it just like the way you are seeing. When I'm done, I'm going to cover the lid and allow to cook so that the tomatoes will release its juice like I said. And at this point, I was thinking the pot will contain all the tomatoes that I have at hand, but I was wrong with my thought. So I'm just going to get another pot and then I will transfer the rest of the tomatoes inside the pot. When I'm done, I'm going to cover it and allow to cook for at least 7 good minutes. So this is like 7 minutes later. I'm just going to use my masher to check the tomatoes, and at this point there was no single burnt on the bottom of the tomato. Reason is because I was cooking on a low to medium heat and I was also checking it often and on. If you have a hand blender, you can go ahead and blend it directly inside the pot, but I'm just going to allow the tomatoes to cool down completely before blending it. I'll be using my blender to blend the tomatoes when the tomatoes are completely cool. So at this point, I'll be blending the tomatoes batch by batch because the tomatoes are much, and I'm adding the fresh rosemary at this point. If your family likes spicy food, you can go ahead and add the habanero pepper or any kind of spiciness inside the blender at this point and blend everything together. But my family does not like spiciness. That is why I'm not adding any spicy or any habanero pepper. So at this point, I'm going to transfer all the blended tomatoes inside my pan. When I'm done transferring it, I'm going to cover the lid just to avoid the splashes. Like, if the splash of these tomatoes touches your skin, it hurts so bad. So make sure you cover it and allow the water from the tomatoes to dry completely. So over to our pot, I'm just going to take out the lid. This is like much hours later. I'm going to add some salt and some peanut oil. You can use any oil of your choice. The salt and the oil is just the natural preservative for this tomato sauce. No artificial flavor or ingredient added. This is DIY, like everything should be natural. I'm going to mix it and then I will allow the tomatoes to simmer for extra 7 good minutes. Then I'll bring you guys back. So over here I have my containers. I've already gone ahead to wash and sanitize them. I'm just going to add or fill in the containers with the tomato sauce because at this point the tomatoes have completely cooled down. When I'm done, I'm going to seal or cover the containers very tight. I mean very tight, so that it will not pour or spill out. When I'm done, I'm going to set it aside, get another container and repeat the same process until I exhaust all the tomato sauce that I have at hand. I'm just going to put them inside the fridge. So yeah, this is how to store or preserve your bountiful tomato garden harvest or your store-bought tomatoes. Bring them out from the fridge whenever you are ready to make your stew or any recipe. I hope you find this video informative and helpful. If you did, please be sure to click on the like button. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I hope you enjoy watching as much as I enjoy making this video. Thank you so much, and please, if you like it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I will see you all on my next video. One love. Bye for now.